Many of the couples who appear on the reality show 90 Day Fiancé hope for a happy ending, but the unconventional way that these couples meet and get married sometimes makes it hard for their relationships to succeed. Often these marriages end in divorce, leaving devastation behind. So let's take a look at some of the saddest endings to ever happen on 90 Day Fiancé. Ashley and Jay. When Ashley and Jay met, Ashley was in her 30s when she met the 19-year-old in Jamaica. They almost immediately started the K-1 visa process so Jay could come to the United States and the couple could tie the knot. After their wedding, Ashley discovered that Jay was texting other women through a dating app on his phone. She ended up forgiving him and trying to work through their problems, but Jay continued lying to Ashley, and his friends confirmed to Ashley that Jay was having an affair with another woman. Ashley filed for divorce, however the couple later reconciled. Even after forgiving him again, Jay just couldn't stay faithful. He ended up cheating on Ashley again, with Ashley filing for a divorce a second time. Jorge and ANFISA. Before ANFISA arrived in the United States, she claims Jorge had promised her a lavish lifestyle and expensive gifts. He couldn't exactly make good on those promises, as ANFISA soon found out. ANFISA's hopes of shoes, bags, and cars were quickly erased as she learned that Jorge wasn't exactly a rich playboy like he made her believe. Now we're not sure who's worse here, Jorge for lying or ANFISA for expecting a sugar daddy. Okay, they're both awful human beings. Jorge was obsessed with looks the way ANFISA was obsessed with money. The tension between the couple escalated to a point where ANFISA keyed Jorge's car. The relationship continued, although ANFISA displayed more and more erratic behavior, and Jorge ended up serving a long sentence in jail on drug charges. Jesse and Darcy. Jesse and Darcy met on a dating website where Darcy admittedly says she had put up a profile picture from when she was much younger. Despite her catfishing attempt, Darcy claimed to be looking to land the love of her life and wasn't interested in playing games. Jesse, on the other hand, was very controlling and obsessed with his own body and working out. The two seemed to bring out the worst in each other, and despite being brought back for a second season, their relationship left viewers scratching their heads. The two eventually split, and Darcy has been dating someone new. PEDRO and CHANTEL. During the episode featuring PEDRO and CHANTEL, CHANTEL's family were a big part in their engagement and wedding, but not in a good way. PEDRO's family, who came from the Dominican Republic, and CHANTEL's family didn't exactly hit it off. You might remember the scene where PEDRO's mom cooked chicken feet for her soon-to-be in-laws? Well, the families were so against the wedding that it became a nightmare for CHANTEL and PEDRO to enjoy their time together. The two did eventually end up tying the knot, but when they were set to return for the spin-off 90 Day Fiancé Happily Ever After, the two were seen fighting and explosive clips aired by the network.
Yeah, you're acting like one.
Sean and Abby. Sean and Abby started dating after meeting on a dating website, and despite their 20-year age difference, they were determined to make their relationship work. Red flag number one was when Sean arrived in Haiti to see Abby, but found out that she is still extremely close to her ex-boyfriend, who also happened to be an older man from the United States. The two fought over her friendship with her ex, but after Sean returned to the US, the two reconciled and ended up getting engaged. They never seemed to get through their problems, and by the time they filmed their season's reunion show, the two had broken up. Since their breakup, Abby has moved on to a new boyfriend from, you guessed it, the United States. Hey, at least we know she has a type, right? David and Annie. David was one of the most unlikable characters to ever appear on 90 Day Fiancé. He was an alcoholic and had no job, mooching off a friend when he met Annie from Thailand. Though the two had a 24-year age difference between them, they seemed to really want to be together. David was able to borrow the money to bring Annie to the United States and make her his wife. However, Annie was seriously concerned that David couldn't afford to take care of her. David continued to drink once Annie arrived in the US, and it really upset Annie. Annie seemed like a genuinely nice person, which made viewers dislike David even more. The two are still together, though we can't help but wonder how Annie is dealing with all of David's shortcomings. Chelsea and Ymir. Chelsea was volunteering in Nicaragua when she met Ymir, who happened to be a member of an extremely popular boy band. The two hit it off, and Ymir moved to the United States against the wishes of his bandmates and manager. The two were married and moved in with Chelsea's parents. Chelsea became increasingly upset when Ymir would go to Chicago to focus on his music career rather than stay in her small town with her. Chelsea eventually filed for divorce and the two separated. The two were able to part as friends, and Chelsea has moved on with a new boyfriend. Jonathan and Fernanda. When Jonathan and Fernanda met, they hit it off right away. Jonathan returned to Mexico to bring Fernanda back to North Carolina with him. They got married soon after arriving back in North Carolina, and Fernanda quickly got restless and wanted to be in a big city as opposed to a small town, so that she could focus on her modeling career. The couple couldn't work through their differences, and they eventually split. Jonathan filed for divorce as well as paperwork so he wouldn't be financially responsible for his soon-to-be ex-wife. Paul and Karine. When Paul met Karine, she didn't speak any English, which made it very difficult for the two to communicate. They appeared on 90 Day Fiancé the other way, and when Paul arrived in Brazil, we started to get a taste of how bad the two were for each other. Paul displayed very bizarre behavior almost immediately and showed a lot of disrespect for Karine's culture. He refused to learn the language, leaving Karine with no way to communicate with him. The two were forced to communicate through a translator app on Paul's phone. To add to the craziness, Paul hid his criminal past from Karine, building their relationship all on lies. Eventually, the two did have a child together, but soon after, Karine left Paul for someone else. The couple has since officially divorced. Mark and Nikki. Probably one of the most cringiest couples to ever appear on 90 Day Fiancé, Mark and Nikki's age difference made viewers' skin crawl. Mark was 58 years old when he met 19-year-old Nikki on a dating website and was immediately obsessed. He moved his future bride from the Philippines to the United States in record time, and the two began preparing for their nuptials. Over time, it became clear that the dynamic of their relationship was just odd. Mark treated Nikki more like a daughter than a fiancé and would often critique and scold her. Despite the creepiness and seemingly one-sided relationship between Mark and Nikki, the couple welcomed a child together, and as far as fans know, are still together. Luis and Molly. When we met Molly on 90 Day Fiancé, she already had some notoriety from appearing on the reality show Double Divas. She met Luis while vacationing in the Dominican Republic, and despite their almost 20-year age difference, the two hit it off. When Luis arrived in the United States, he didn't make the greatest impression on Molly's kids. He had absolutely no interest in being a stepfather and made no effort to hide his feelings. After a bachelor party full of strippers and making inappropriate comments to Molly's daughter, Luis was definitely in over his head. The last straw was when Luis claimed he was being emotionally and physically abused by Molly. The two eventually ended their marriage by getting a divorce.
And get out of my house, because I am not gonna be living with somebody who is gonna chastise and shun me.
Eric and Lita. What wasn't wrong with Eric and Lita's relationship? The two seemed doomed from the get-go. Eric and Lita met for the first time face-to-face in Indonesia and were engaged just 2 days later. Lita traveled back to the US to get married. The drama started almost immediately when Lita couldn't get along with Eric's teenage daughter. Eric sided with his new bride and kicked his daughter out of the house. Not the best way to start a marriage. Lita also had a huge problem with Eric paying child support to his ex-wife. On top of all this drama, Lita had a very hard time adjusting to life in Wisconsin. She had come from a very wealthy family and was used to a more luxurious lifestyle. When Lita finally filed a restraining order against Eric's daughter, it seemed like there would be no resolution of the family conflict. These two are still married, which seems like the saddest ending that we could imagine for everyone involved. COLT and LARISSA. From the very beginning, LARISSA was accused of taking advantage of COLT. COLT's family and friends felt that LARISSA was a gold digger who had COLT in her sights as a way to come to the United States and use his money. Well, the joke was on LARISSA. If that was the case, COLT was not rich by any means. The two met online and then finally had a face-to-face meeting in Mexico before LARISSA was brought to the US. The second LARISSA stepped off the plane, she immediately began asking COLT where her flowers were, to which COLT had to nervously respond that he didn't bring her any. To add to their problems, LARISSA's jealousy when COLT would talk to other women caused a lot of tension in their relationship. And not just any woman. LARISSA had a huge problem with the amount of attention COLT would show his own mother. It seemed like these two were doomed from the start. After LARISSA's countless arrests for domestic abuse, it didn't seem like the two would make it, and they did not.
Okay, if you do any other better thing to me, I will divorce.
Which couple do you think had the saddest ending? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this one.